Most of you in your heads, go ahead and turn to Psalm chapter number 1. Most of you in your heads have already decided, I have a goal for 2024. You have a goal for 2024. For some of you, your goal is a wish that the rapture is going to happen. For some of you, you have a mortgage that you're ready to pay off or a car payment that you're ready to make that last payment on. But we all have goals. Some of us want to spend more time at the gym. January is the most crowded time to go to a public gym. Why? Because that's when everyone starts their New Year's goal. And then by February, half of the group is gone. But we all have goals, and we want to better ourselves. We want to better ourselves, and we want to be blessed. My wife is such a blessing. Pastor's exactly right. I have, a very good one the best wife ever. And I am blessed. And what I love about Psalm chapter number 1 is when we are working with your kids in Sparkies, we teach it to them this way, and there's almost a disconnect. We say, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. We make that word blessed almost as if it's a different word from the word blessed, but blessed and blessed are exactly the same thing. So one day when I was reading that, and it hit me like that, because I grew up, just like your kids in Sparkies did, blessed, I was like, that's blessed. So the title of the sermon today, and what I want to highlight in Psalm chapter number 1, is the blessed man. The blessed man. How can we be blessed for 2024? Well, here's how we're blessed for 2024. The first thing we have to look at is the stride of the man in Psalm chapter 1. His stride. The man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. His stride does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly. You see, there was a king in 1 Kings chapter number 12. Don't turn there because we don't have time. But his name was Rehoboam. And he was the son of Solomon. And you see, Solomon had passed away when Rehoboam was ready to reign, and Rehoboam had the people come to him and they said, your father had a grievous yoke on us. It was a tough time when Solomon was running the kingdom. It was difficult for us. But if you'll make the yoke just a little bit lighter, we'll serve you and you'll be our king. So Rehoboam asked for 3 days to consider this option, and he only talked to 2 different groups. He talked to the old men that had stood before Solomon and had the experience from the wisest man to walk on the planet. And then he talked to his younger friends. Now, if you guys have ever been on Teays Valley Road, when I was younger, like 14, I had a friend and his name was Caleb Bailey. And we were in the back of my car that my mom was driving, and we were behind a slow car. And there was a Teays Valley Church of God, and it goes like this. There's a ramp up here, and there's a ramp down here. And we said, that car is going so slow in front of you, Mom, you can get up on that ramp and then shoot down and pass that car. And those of you who have seen that spot on Teays Valley Road know that is just not an option when you're driving. But because we were young and inexperienced, we thought it was a good idea. Because when you're young and you don't have a lot of experience under your belt, you're not going to be the one to give good advice. And what happened for Rehoboam was he sought ungodly counsel with his young friends who were inexperienced, who had never led a kingdom, instead of turning to the counsel of the wise old men who had stood before King Solomon and seen him make the decisions that he made in the time he made them. When that baby was brought before Solomon, and one woman said, it's mine, and the other woman said, no, it's mine. And Solomon said, well, divide the baby in half with a sword. One woman was like, okay, I'm cool with that. And the other one said, no, just give it to her. And he said, well, give it to the one that's willing to give up the kid, because we know that's the true mom. Because a mom would never, in her right mind, be okay with cutting her baby, in half. That's wisdom. So, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. His stride is not in the counsel of the ungodly. But not only does he have a stride that is not in the counsel of the ungodly, he has a standing. And his standing is not in the way of a sinner. You see, it was Lot in Genesis 19 who decided to live in Sodom and Gomorrah, a city full of wickedness. And when he chose to live in a city full of wickedness, he did not come out unscathed. He lost his wife. His daughters abused him physically. He lost his son-in-laws that were supposed to marry his daughters. He lost his home, and everything that he had was destroyed. Why? Because he chose to stand in the way of sinners. And you say, well, he didn't stand in the way of sinners. He was just there. But he was there standing with them, operating with them, functioning with them. And then when the angels came to visit Sodom and Gomorrah before the destruction, here's what happened when they came to visit. He said, you have to come into my house. And they said, no, we're going to stay in the street all night. He said, no, you come into my house. He compelled them to come into his house. And they came into his house. And then the people of Sodom and Gomorrah came and beat on the door. Give them out to us that we can know them. And you know what that means. Give them out to us that we can know them. And he said, no. He said, here's the thing. I have 2 daughters, and they're both virgins. I will deliver them to you, and you can do whatever you see fit if you will leave those 2 men alone. But the people wouldn't hear it. And you would say, who in their right mind would offer their daughters to be abused in such a way? Sin will take you further than you want to go and keep you longer than you want to stay. Blessed is the man that does not stand in the way of sinners.
Yes, sir.
So if we want to be blessed in 2024, it means maybe we have to get new friends so we can have some good godly counsel. It means maybe that we have to move physically from a position or from a place or from a standing that is influencing us in a negative fashion or even vexing us. You see, what was significant about Lot in this scripture, in 2 Peter 2, 7 through 9, it says, and delivered just Lot vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, even though Lot was righteous, the rest of them weren't, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Finally, we have his stride, we have his stance, but the blessed man has a sitting, his sitting. And his sitting is not in the seat of the scornful, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. You want to know what's significant about that, Brother Sean? The scornful are not people who are actually standing, they're sitting. And I am afraid that we have more scorners today than we have ever had in the history of the world. Why? Because all we have to do is sit, and if I had my cell phone on me, I'd pull it out and type. And we can insult people, we can tear up people's lives from the comfort of our butt and a phone. Scorners are sitting in the Bible. Scorners are sitting in real life. Why? Because they're not accomplishing anything. If someone takes a shot at this church and what Pastor John is doing here with this ministry, when they have never built something like this, they're technically a scorner. Now, if there was another pastor who had a similar experience, he could give you instruction, you know what I mean? But scorners are people who accomplish nothing in life. So if we're going to be blessed, we can't be waiting on a check in the mail. We have to get up and go do something to get to where we want to be.
Yes, sir.
Because blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Matthew 7:1, judge not that ye be not judged. Luke 6:37, judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. And then in the Bible, we also see the term busybodies. And busybodies, according to Webster's dictionary, an officious or inquisitive person. In 2 Thessalonians 3:11, busybodies are referred to as lazy people. For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies. In 1 Timothy 5:13, tattlers also and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. 1 Peter 4:15, but let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or, Pastor Chad, this is interesting, as a busybody. So a busybody, a scorner of sorts who is in other people's business and is never doing anything themselves, but is rather just sitting, is noted among the thieves, is noted among those that are murderers, and is noted among those that are evil doers. So it's easy for us to say we're not an evil doer. It's easy for us not to be a thief. And it's easy for us not to be a murderer, but are we a busybody? And here's the thing. I think we all struggle with it. We are in a world that is more connected than ever. Why? Because we have the internet. Why? Because we have dense populations. So we are always in other people's stuff, and we have to beware and watch ourselves to not be sitting as a scorner, nor to be a busybody, because a busybody is counted with the thieves, the murderers, and the evildoers. And that challenges us. That challenges us. Scorners are always sitting. They can't accomplish anything while they're sitting. You see, if we want to be blessed in 2024, we have to remember our delight is in the law of the Lord. In his law doth he meditate day and night, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. 2024's playlist for goals, accomplishments, and blessings in God's book, Psalm chapter 1. Thank you.